All right. Welcome everybody. I am about to go live, and it's another Monday, and it's another interesting release today. We're super excited today because I think we are solving a problem that's been manifesting itself for months now, and it's a problem with MCP. So every time we go to events or we meet our users, we always get asked, "Hey, do you support MCP? Can I plug this MCP server here? Can you do this?" And then when we ask, "Well, what do you need MCP for?" Everybody answers something like, "Well, I heard about MCP. I just wanted to try it out." And the reason why they say that, we ask a follow-up question always, is that because it's so hard to understand how MCP really works and to really plug it to an agent. So MCP exists in a silo. There are many servers. I think we now have close to maybe 7,000 servers or something like that. And so there's a lot of choice. There's a lot to choose from. And we're seeing that both byte coders and developers are getting more and more interested, because all of a sudden now you have a ton of services you can plug into your app. But as a matter of fact, with almost 7,000 MCP servers, there are just a handful of receivers. So think of NCP as really something you plug into your agent, just like you are plugging an external accessory to your laptop. You have this dongle. The dongle is MCP, and then the receiving end is your laptop, and then the other device is the device you want to plug in. So if you wanted to plug in, I don't know, an external monitor, you plug the external monitor, you use this USB-C port, and it all works, right? So as a matter of fact, there are so few laptops, but so many devices that you can plug in. And if you look at it carefully, what you can do is really plug MCP servers into Cursor, WinServe, um, and then Cloud Desktop, ChatGPT, like that's it. So not a ton of receivers exist for MCP, and that really is impairing adoption and also confidence for developers and byte coders both. And we want to fix that. We want to fix that because we see value in MCP. It's bringing really a universe of new connectors and new services that you can bring to your app to make it really useful. But then, as a matter of fact, it's not hard. It's not easy. It's not very hard to get those done. Can we actually change MCP or change the world of MCP by making it extremely simple to connect an agent to an MCP server, maybe with just one link? And the answer is obviously yes. And we were super frustrated and nobody was doing that very easily. And so we stepped in, as always, and we, using simplicity as the ultimate sophistication, did that for the world. And the result is what I'm proud to announce today, and it's called MCP Client. So Toolhouse is an MCP client and a server at the same time, meaning that your agents are already plugged into our default MCP server that serves all the basic components that an agent needs: code interpreting, memory, storage, RAG, you name it, scraping. But then if you need more, you can plug a specific MCP server into your agent with just one link. And today I'm going to show you exactly how it's done with a series of examples. So this is available today to everybody, old and new customers, free, sandbox, pro, business, whatever your tier is, you can now plug MCP servers into your Toolhouse agents. And it's super simple. It cannot be simpler. So I'll actually start with Agent Studio, and then I'll move to the CLI to show you exactly what I mean. So let's share my screen. And as always, you can see all my tabs, all my stuff, and I'm super excited to do it raw and unfiltered as always. Okay, so I'm going to just switch to my Agent Studio. I'll show you the recipe. So I was trying to create an agent that uses a generic MCP server using Agent Studio. What I'm going to do is get a public MCP server, like the Cloudflare MCP server, and go to Agent Studio, which we already did, and just like reference it. So now we can basically create a documentation interface for Cloudflare. You're welcome, Cloudflare. You already have your chat to your docs system in place, and we're going to do it in literally 30 seconds. So I copy the MCP server from the official Cloudflare developers website, which is this one, copy. And then I'm just going to tell in plain English to Toolhouse, hey, uh, build an agent that acts as a developer advocate for Cloudflare. Um, it should fetch answers from their MCP server and uh, respond in simple terms. Here's the MCP server. Very simple. So basically what we're saying here is, hey, just get the MCP server plugged in and create this agent for us. And look at what happened here. So we basically prompted the agent. That's what Agent Studio usually does for you. But as a added benefit, you have the MCP server already plugged in for you. And look how easy it is. Here, MCP servers, and it's just the link to the MCP server. That's all you need to connect your agent to an MCP server. So let's deploy it and preview it. And let's see. Hey, can you explain what Cloudflare is? All right. And this is already looking into their MCP server. There you go. Can you explain me if what do I need to do to select a region for my worker? So I'm basically starting to ask more complex questions here. And obviously looking at the MCP server fetches the answer, and there you go. There you have it, you know? And so you can see that this is basically the basic flow for the MCP server. And you can do a lot of crazy stuff with this. So, but it starts with simplicity. So I'll switch back to the configuration here. This is the code. Get this down, and it's all done for you. So we started with a very simple prompt. Here, you just need to chat to our Agent Studio, and Agent Studio gives you the fully fleshed out prompt. And it's already, obviously, it's part of the Agent Studio. It's already full with all the prompt engineering techniques that you need here to make sure you get exactly what you need here, right? So this is super, super simple. And it's exactly what you need to get yourself started. But then, obviously, if you're looking for something a little bit more sophisticated or complex, I can show you another example how to actually interact with other services. So an MCP server is basically a standardized protocol. So it accepts every MCP server communicates with any other service in a uniform way, which means that basically if a remote MCP server is hosted somewhere, chances are you can actually use it directly with Toolhouse as well, because it's all a protocol, so it's all standard. And so if you have a URL to an MCP server, then you should be good to go. And there are many services out there. One is Zapier, for example. Another one is Smithery. So let me show you how to look for an MCP server. So I can go to Smithery, for example, here. They have remote MCP servers. And so you can get one of those and plug them in. And as a matter of fact, we're actually going to use the Notion server here. And as you see, there's a URL here. So you have to basically click generate URL, provide your Notion API key here, which I already did. And this, you find it in Notion. So it tells you what to do. Here's how you obtain it. So let me show you real quick how it works. So I created this internal integration for Smithery, and you have the integration secret here. You just have to basically copy it by clicking show, copy, paste it here, and that's how you do it. Then you click get link, and this creates a URL that you can use now for your integration. So my idea was to create an agent that gets a kind of a requirement document for an app and starts analyzing it and creates tickets in say Notion. This could be linear, it could be Jira. You can plug your linear here if you have linear, which is a fantastic um, like issue management software for engineers. So you can use any of these servers and you can just swap the URL. And this one, I'm going to show you how to do it on the CLI. So I'm going to show you what the agent looks like. And it looks like this. I already baked it. And then we're going to switch to Agent Studio, obviously, but I wanted to show you that this works from the CLI as well. So this is the system prompt. You're an awesome engineer manager, skilled at writing tickets, analyze the MVP, and create a set of tickets in Notion. Use the Notion tool. So this is the raw, unfiltered, unstructured text for the requirements. And then I pasted the MCP server here. Okay. So I'm going to deploy this, deploy MVP, whoops, it's the wrong file, deploy MVP to Notion tickets.yaml, deploy it. And then for good measure, actually, let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it better. I'm also going to run it. Run MVP to Notion tickets.yaml. So this is the prompt. It's now outputting the output from the agent, and you're seeing this. It's already calling the MCP server tool here. List databases. There's already a database here. It's now doing its thing, searching, and it starts to create tickets. So this is already creating some tickets. Let's see if I can find the page real quick. It should be right here. So this will now start populating with tickets in here. Let me run it again. Let's see. And it should be the right page. But you basically get it. This is basically how it works. And we already found the database here, development ticket. So it should appear here. It's an empty database. Perfect. It's getting more of the properties of the database. So it goes autonomously. And then we can also, if we want to work on better improving this prompt better, we can feed it better to the Agent Studio, which I'm going to do in just a second. And you're seeing that I'm using even a different model here, so we can change the model, swap the model, and see what happens. So it's creating the page. There you go. Now it's starting to create the tickets. Here's the second one. And based on the MVP, it's creating detailed descriptions of the ticket as well. So this is the database, obviously, for a to-do app. You get it, So this is fantastic, because we already plugged Notion in just 30 seconds. So very, very simple and very, very easy for us to just go and get started with a simple prompt that wasn't even optimized, and a plugin with an MCP server. So this will keep going. A few tickets will be created. I'll just let it run, but let me show you again the prompt here, and then this, because we deploy it, it's going to live in our Agent Studio. So let me find it here. And as you can see, this is exactly what we had. And there's the MCP server here configured. And from now on, this is our agent. So when we look at the agent runs, for example, so this is those are running, but you can get the all the runs here, and you're going to see something like this happening, and you can see it happening with also the details of the MCP servers. So let me show you in the examples here happening what we can expect. So I go back to our agent studio, agent runs, and if we went back to the developer advocates MCP server, as you can see, we're using this MCP server, which doesn't exist in our gallery of MCP servers. This is not served by our default MCP server. It's actually served by the Cloudflare MCP server that we just plugged into this agent here. And then you can see the output as well. There you go. So this is basically all the content that we received, and then the agent was able to summarize it and give us the response in very simple terms. Then again, we asked for a follow-up, and we received another tool call from the agent, and then the agent forwarded that to the MCP server, and Cloudflare responded back with a lot of text, and again, the agent was able to just summarize it and make it concise. So this is how you can basically inspect and debug what's going on with your MCP servers as you start calling them. Now, in Toolhouse, you can actually use as many MCP servers as you want. Today, we're just using one, but you can use multiple. So when you can actually plug different services, and there are things like, you can plug actually Zapier and Smithery together, and that will allow you to basically pick and choose the various services you can find here and there. It also allows you to use like official services. For example, Stripe. Stripe has its own MCP server, so you might want to use that instead of the same MCP server that's hosted from a different gateway you may not trust because it's payment, it's kind of sensitive. Databases, Neon. Neon has a fantastic MCP server that allows your agents to connect to your database and perform operations. And so all of a sudden, you actually build your talk to your data agents very simply. And we actually have one that we use internally to measure our performance. And what it does is exactly that. It connects to Neon, which is our database where we have our metrics, and we can answer questions like, can you give me a retention query for the last 7 days? Or, do we acquire any customers based on the promotion that we run in for 4th of July, something like that. So all these kind of things can happen very quickly with no lines of code whatsoever. And so our talk to your agent data analyst, it took us probably an hour to build, and most of the interactions, most of the tweaks that we had to do was actually just selecting the right model. And we wanted to use a slightly more powerful model like 4.1. We don't even have to go crazy in using like reasoning models or anything like that. It can come for real cheap, and it all starts from there. So it's just one line, and it gives you thousands of services. So this is basically what we just built and what we released today. So another thing I want to show you is that when you go on our help agent, you can actually ask exactly how to set it up. Hey, how do I set up a custom MCP server? And it gives you some instructions. So don't hesitate to ask questions to our agent or to Discord directly. There are a lot of pointers here that you can find, and it's super, super simple. So you can do it directly from Agent Studio, and all you have to do is really to ask Agent Studio, hey, can you add this MCP server? So even if you don't have a specific MCP server to begin with, then you can actually add it later. Let me show you how that works. So you can say, hey, can you build a developer relations agent that answers technical questions for me Obviously, this is going to create the agent. Perfect. And then you can say, I forgot I wanted to make it specific to Cloudflare. Uh, Make sure to use this MCP server. And look at what happens. We don't have to really do anything. The agent obviously is smart, so it understands exactly what to do here. And when we run this code, you're going to see that we're going to call the MCP server. There you go. So that's basically all you had to do with Toolhouse. Super simple. It does really uh, really ease the complexity, and that was the main problem we had back in last month, a couple months ago, when MCP started to become very popular. Like, either you use it for manual tasks on your desktop app, or you're kind of screwed because you have a lot of integration you have to do, even if MCP promised to kind of remove and standardize all this kind of stuff. And the reality is that that's not true, and it's not possible for people who really get into AI today to to get the best of AI. So that's exactly the problem that we're seeing, that we're facing, that we want to solve. Like, either AI is this tsunami that really brings everything and everybody on the same page, or it's still going to be this like piecemeal solution that requires a ton of knowledge, a ton of integration. I think that's wrong, and I think that is criminal, and it shouldn't exist anymore. What it needs to exist is that everybody, regardless that they are a software engineer or my mom, they should be able to plug their services and go on with their lives. My mom, while she prepares her meal, or she enjoys a nice sunny day at the beach because she lives on the seaside, she should have an agent that checks stocks or Amazon orders, and she shouldn't purchase it. She should build it, and she should build it with this ease of use. And a by coder, maybe somebody who worked in marketing up until last week and got laid off by big tech, they maybe have a little bit of savings. Hopefully they can go on and find another corporate job and get laid off like 3 months from now, or just get the money and make more money with that. I want everybody using Toolhouse to make 5, 10, 15, 20K a month, and use them for their financial independence. And the only way to do that is by making technology simple and accessible to everybody. And now that we did this with MCP, you can do that. So all you have to do is really sign up for Toolhouse, and you just have to go to app.toolhouse.ai and sign up, or even better, here, sign up for Toolhouse today. It's free, and we're making it super, super simple and easy to get started. You can get started with just 50 executions every month. You don't have to pay a dime for that. Then, if you're scaling up, you need to do two things. The first thing is to get a Stripe link into your app so other people can use it and you can make money off of it. And then pay a little bit more, like $10, $20 for 2 hours. That's just the starting point, $10. And you get 1,000 executions a month. As you scale, you'll have more money because you'll have more users, and your executions will just like grow linearly. So the cost for you, it's always the same for 2,000. It actually goes down with usage. So if you become the owner of a fantastic app that explodes all of a sudden, let us know. Volume pricing is available, and we can make it super, super cheap and affordable for you to keep running on and keep building on Toolhouse. So that's basically NCP in a nutshell. I hope you liked it, but I'll leave you with this. This is not the first nor the last foray into simplicity for us or in MCP. Like, we are all in, and we believe that MCP is really going to bring agents into like the next level, to equip them with all the tools needed to actually be useful and autonomous, but for everybody, not just for companies. And so stay tuned, because we have more in the pipeline for MCP. You've been warned, and I can't wait actually to show you what's next. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon at the next live stream. Bye.